guys, this is Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today we are doing a review of The Beauty of Horror Tarot by Alan Robert, and the guidebook is written by Rachel Pollack. So it says, Fear Your Future, and this is just so cheeky. And actually, you know, I had this deck on my wish list, but James also kind of sort of had this deck on his wish list as well. So I actually ended up buying this deck for him. So this is James's deck, but you know, I get to use it too. So anyway, and I have, which is why I'm doing this review. Anyway, so it says gorgeous colored cards. By the way, there is a coloring book that goes kind of along with this, and then there's also one where you can colorize the cards yourself. So, you know, there's various ways you can have fun with this deck. This one happens to be the one that's already pre-colored. But anyway, it comes in this ginormous box here. So as you can see, the cards are no longer in this box because, you know, we're not carrying this giant box around. But anyway, this is the back. And copyright 2021. And like I said, very nice box. It does have a bit of red gold foil on the front, which is really cool. This portion back here is just kind of like stuck on, so we'll just leave that. But anyway, let's take a look at the guidebook first. To me, it's reminiscent of, I don't know, like the colorization of like He-Man slash 80s slash Misfits kind of thing. You know, you guys get it? Those of you born in the 80s, you know. Okay, so here we have this awesome little bat, but lets you know that this was created by Alan Robert, and again, the guidebook written by Rachel Pollack. So it has a little bit of an introduction here, just kind of telling you kind of about this deck, like its connection to the Rider-Waite-Smith, and kind of why make a deck like this. So it's a rather interesting read. Definitely take a look at, you know, the guidebooks, you know, you guys. So when creators are putting things out there, sometimes they create some really awesome guidebooks, and I think it's worth a gander. And even if you don't use the guidebook, at least you get a background of where the creator was coming from. So anyway, here we have our table of contents. By the way, full color, nice kind of smooth glossy pages, by the way, so you can definitely just put it in your library if you wish. Okay, so it tells you the, you know, general structure of the tarot, that there's major arcana, there's minor arcana, and then it goes straight into your major arcana. So it'll tell you kind of about what's going on here. Of course, your Rider-Waite-Smith meanings here and some reversal meanings. So if you are just starting off in the system of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and remember that is not the only tarot system that is out there, this might be really cool because it has a guidebook that has a lot of the meanings, but also if you connect with the images, you're more likely to want to stick with trying to understand, learn, and intuit the meanings of the cards. And I say intuit because with the images, it's nice to be able to go in a card and say, what is my intuition telling me? And sometimes it isn't what the meanings are here, but I have a whole video on that if you guys want to check that out, how I read tarot. But anyway, here's the Magician, High Priestess, so on and so forth. You guys get the idea. It does the same for the minor arcana. Oh, you guys are gonna have so much fun with this deck. It appeals to my Addams Family core that lives within me. Anyway, it has, you know, just kind of a basic 3-card spread, how you could use this. It says, Guliana and Gregory have given us their greatest gifts, 78 wondrous cards of mystery and power, and now we've seen their stories and their meanings. All that's left is to use them. Are you ready? And then you have your Celtic cross spread back here. Okay, so this is some of the stuff that I was talking about. So these are some of the coloring books, and then there's apparently even like a Yule edition or a little Christmas edition here. So definitely check it out, beautyofhorror.com. You can also find them on Amazon, but there's coloring books, and there's also a uncolorized deck, which you can colorize yourself for you artists and color maniacs out there. All right, so there you go. That's the guidebook. Let's take a look at this deck. All right, so first of all, the cards are your standard tarot size cards. The back here, ooh, come on now. There we go. The back here, can't really use reversals on it. I mean, you could, but you know that the card is upside down. I myself do not use reversals, but that doesn't mean that I don't intuit the reversed meaning of the card without physically having the card upside down. So for me, it doesn't really matter. James does read reversals, and he doesn't really seem to mind because he likes this deck a lot. If I get in close, once again, I hope you could see that it does have a linen finish. So the cards feel kind of on the thin side for me, but that's because I like really thick cardstock. I'm talking like 300 GSM and above. This is obviously under that, but it's a linen finish, which means that it has a lot of bend to it, a lot of flex. So those of you guys that are riffle shufflers, this is going to be an excellent option, but they're protected, so they're not going to get all janky, over time. So anyway, there's that. Without further ado, let's take a look at these lovely images. Okay. So as you can see, if you put a traditional RWS deck next to this deck, it has a lot of the same elements that, this is the Queen of Wands, but they have their own kind of spooky, ghouly, like I said, Misfits meets He-Man meets the 80s, kind of all mixed in it, that kind of comic book coloring. And I think the art is amazing. And yes, I mean, with the guts falling out, it's like, I don't know, it dances on the border of really creepy to, dude, this is kind of cool. Okay, so how does it read? I believe decks connect to people in various ways. One deck for one person might be more for shadow work. Another person might be like, oh no, that's like a hunky-dory, happy-go-lucky type of deck. Okay, so for James, when he's using this deck, he said it's more giving him answers and insight into why things are happening, but more in the 4 and 5D realm. So if he's asking about, let's say, something going on with his car, it's more talking about, well, what's going on in 4 or 5D that's manifesting itself in the 3D with your car. And so that's how it reads with him. And for me, it's like, oh, okay, what could I do to have an awesome day tomorrow? And it's like, hey, how about these shadows, huh? You want to clear up some of these shadows, have yourself an awesome day tomorrow, but let's take a look at these shadows. And that's how the deck works for me. So as you can see, it works a little bit differently with two different people. So you never really know until you have a deck in your hands how it's going to work with you. But the main thing is that you feel a connection when you look at the images. There have been decks where, I'm been like, oh, I don't know, the images are kind of cool, but once it was in my hands, I was like, dude, we're soulmates now. Like this works for me, so if you're into this type of artwork, you got a little bit of, Wednesday Addams or Pugsley in you, you might dig this deck. But yeah, so definitely pretty traditional in the elements that are in each of these cards, RWS, but just tweaked ever so slightly, and of course with a ghoul-tastic overlay on it. Now, I hate clowns, so to have what looks like it, what looks like Pennywise sitting there, kind of freaking me out. That almost to me is like Skeletor. I mean, so interesting. But I do love the color. Even though I am a person that likes thicker cardstock, I can get down with some linen cardstock because I know that it's good quality. It's just thinner. And I like how the color pops on that particular cardstock. And also it has kind of like a grayish tea stained border background sort of thing going on, kind of giving it that more somber feel. And look, it's not a naked baby. Excellent. And now that I've mentioned the Misfits, I literally have the song Dig Up Her Bones playing in my head. Point me to the graveyard, dig up her bones. For you punk fans out there. And you could press pause, by the way, on any one of these cards if you want to take a longer gander at it. This is, to me, a little bit 70s over here. I dig this one. I mean, I dig all the cards, but, you know, that's actually one of my, I would have to say, a top fave, Ten of Cups. And this one, kind of creepy. He's wearing a mask. I don't know why it creeps me out when people wear masks. I don't, it's just, maybe it's like the thing with clowns. Like, what are you hiding? What's under there? Okay, that's it. Okay, so at the end of all of my reviews, I always do a little reading. So, hey, you came for the unique images, but hey, also stay for the reading. If it connects with you, fantastic. If it doesn't, you know, again, I hope you just had fun kind of learning a little bit about this deck, looking at some gorgeous artwork or ghoul-tastic artwork, I should say, but it's still, you know, awesome. It's really cool. Like I said, great coloring, great choice of images and depictions and just how they're laid out on the cards is just excellent. Okay, so let's see. This is more just kind of general message for everybody's best and highest good. Whoop, okay, we have one card. Let's put that there. That's another thing. Sometimes this deck just has flyers galore. Just cards just flying out. Oh, willy-nilly. Okay. So we have the Six of Cups. We have the Four of Wands. And we have the Two of Pentacles. I want to get in nice and tight so you guys can see what is going on in these cards. Got your little zombie children. Good, good. And bring this one up. This dude's really stoked. And this bat with really awesome abs. Wonder what his ab workouts are all about. Okay, so let's put this together for a reading for you guys. Like, okay. See, every time I read these cards, it's nothing but shadows. So prepare for some shadows, you guys. I can't get away from it with this deck. Okay. A lot of you have been working on healing some childhood traumas. There's a lot of programming that happens even before we hit preschool, elementary school. where our beliefs about the world, who we are, what we're able to achieve, our worth, and all of that stems from, again, way back when we're little. And many of you have been working on releasing a lot of that programming and finding the true, authentic you that was you before all of that programming occurred. And so this is just a reminder to continue working on that, continue releasing those things and thanking them for the lessons that they gave you and the adventures, whether they were positive or negative, that happened along the way. And through that, you're creating a more solid foundation because it's a more authentic foundation of yourself and thus more balance within your life. So you might start to see finances moving in a more positive direction. You might notice relationships moving in a more positive direction. Just everything seems like what was once, the ship with its, stern in the air is now righting itself because you're righting what created imbalance so long ago. So continue on that path. You guys are doing great. I know it's difficult. I too am doing the shadow biz like a little more heavily than I normally do. But yeah, keep at it because you are creating the real you. Even if you're like, oh, this is the way it's always been, and you assume that's just you, that's your personality. But if you dig deep enough, you realize that sometimes that's programming, and then you believe that that's who you always were and that's who you will always be, but it doesn't have to be that way, especially if there are parts of your life you want to change. That means that you might have to find the real you, the more authentic you, before all of the trauma and all that stuff, occurred. So keep at it. You guys are on the right track. Anyway, like I said, dude, shadow work this deck, shadow work. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Beauty of Horror Tarot by Alan Robert and Rachel Pollack as the guidebook creator. But anyway, if you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com. I have a lot of different types of readings. I have conchomancy readings, which is readings with seashells, and some people have requested that I start reading with my bones. I do read bones, actual animal bones, because I do believe they have a medicine that we could look into, but also kind of reading them like I do my my seashells. So if you want that, just let me know upon booking. If you want me to use this deck, always let me know upon booking. Some people see my reviews and they're like, hey, could you use that deck, in my reading? And I'm more than happy to oblige. So yeah, but I have a lot of other things over there. I have my room and body sprays. I have my salves. I have my Wally's World Oracle, which is a deck that I created. It's actually community created, and it was community funded, but it has my little Wallito in there as our little animal guide. And if you're looking for more witchy items, maybe check out Desert Cauldron. It's all one word on Etsy, or you can find us on Instagram at desert.cauldron. But we have a lot of unique, one-of-a-kind items for your unique, one-of-a-kind practice. For instance, we have these spell bottles. We do not have very many of these because actually these, the bottle itself is an antique. It's over 100 years old. We like to incorporate kind of things like that in the items that we create for our shop. And some of the items were actually created by local artisans and artisans on our local reservations here as well. But this is actually a protection bottle. I have a little scroll, if you guys can see in here. I have a little scroll with certain protective words. And then let's see, down in here, there's, I have a little quartz crystal as well to kind of amplify the energy. It's just kind of floating around in here. And then I also have an ethically sourced coyote tooth, which is actually also antique because this coyote tooth is over 100 years old as well. Just kind of helping us to avoid the trickster energy. So kind of using coyote as our guide to kind of see through the BS, and help to protect us. There's various herbs in here that I find that are very protective of your space. So you could take the items out and use it as you wish, or you could just leave it in the bottle here and just place it in your sacred space. And they've been sealed in wax. So we have things like that. Definitely check us out. Yeah, so come dance in the desert with us over at Desert Cauldron. All my other information is down below for my Patreon, my newsletter, my Leon Mystery School, where I teach Mayan astrology alongside other subjects with other various awesome teachers. But yeah, so that's it for me, spiritual homies. I will catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.